Hello, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to sort of a special edition video. Rather than doing reviews of stories from the two magazines I usually cover, I'm going to today go over my choices for their respective Readers' Poll Awards. The both Asimov's and Analog. Analog calls theirs the Analytical Laboratory. Asimov's, it's just the Readers' Poll Awards. They're putting out in the January-February issue, putting out the ballots for those, and the ballots are due on February 1st. So I wanted to get a special quick video out letting you know what my recommendations for the awards are, and then when they announce the results in July, August, I will talk about those and compare with, we'll see how I did, how many of the stories I nominated won the awards. So we'll start with Asimov's. Now actually before I start, I should say each magazine offers or requests your top 3 choices in novella, novelette, short story, poem, and cover. And then Analog also asks for your top 3 choices for their fact articles. So my top 3 choices in descending order, starting with number 1 for each category, is as follows. Starting with Asimov's magazine, for novella, my best novella choice, number 1 is Waterlines by Suzanne Palmer. Number 2, The Lost Testament by Alan M. Steele, which actually is a storyline that is concluded in the January-February Asimov. So I'll be talking about that one when I talk about the January-February stories in a later video. But Lost Testament is in that series, and it's my number 2 pick. My number 3 novella pick is The Esteemed by Robert Reed. Novelette choices, my number 1 choice, How I Found Harry's All-Night Hamburgers by Lawrence Watt Evans. Escaping Amanthra by Christine Catherine Rush. I'm generally a pretty big fan of Christine's work, so it was a pleasure to read her novelette. And number 3, Taking Icarus Home by Suzanne Palmer. Best short story in Asimov's. Short story is always tricky because there are so many that are really fantastic, and you can only pick 3. My top 3 for Asimov's from 2019 were Personal Space by Lawrence Watt Evans, Fragments from the Library of Cygnus X1 by Chris Wilrich, and Salting the Mind by Peter Wood. Best poem, my number 1 choice is The Ruined Library by Bruce Boston. Number 2, 9 Hypotheses Concerning a Mysterious Lump Under the Foyer Rug, Jenny Blackford. And number 3, The Moral of the Double Slit Experiment by Michael Meyerhofer. My top 3 cover choices, my first choice is July, August. Just a fantastic image, that mech coming out of the water and dripping down with people looking up at it was just so striking. Number 2, September, October. The creepy shadow monster, the heroic astronaut facing off against the creepy shadow monster with the pods in the background is a very sinister image, makes you worry, wonder what's going to happen to him, and a very striking story, as I recall, too, so very effective. And then my number 3 choice, May, June. Just a lovely planetary landscape. I really enjoyed that very much. Moving on to the Analog choices, the Readers' Award choices. My novella category, I only really picked 2. There were not that many novellas. There were sufficient in this year in 2019, but really there were only 2 that really held my attention and jumped out and grabbed me. They were both by Adam Troy Castro, as it happens. I've mentioned more than once that I'm a big fan of his work. So my number 1 pick for novella for the Analytical Laboratory for Analog, The Savannah Problem, which is another Draken story. I was very excited to read another story involving Draken. And then The Gorilla in a Tutu Principle, or Pecan Pie at Minnie and Earl's, another just really fun novella by Adam Troy Castro. So those are the 2. I didn't really have a third, just the 2 were the ones that really kept my attention. Novelettes, my first choice, Forgetfulness by J.T. Shera. Number 2, Martian Fever by Julie Novikova. And number 3, On Her Shoulders by Martin L. Shoemaker. Short stories, and as with Asimov's, it's always really tough because there were so many really good ones, and I can only pick 3. The Invitation by Bud Sparhawk, Welcome to Your Machines by David Eisenbach, and The Annual Argument at the De-Extinction Board Meeting by Antha Ann Adkins. Poem How to Time Travel by Mary Soon Lee. Werner Heisenberg Admits He Never Loved by Andrew P. Dillon. And number 3, Continuum by G.O. Clark. The science fact articles from Analog that I enjoyed the most: number 1, Do We Still Need NASA by C. Stewart Hardwick. Epigenetics, The Future of Genetics in Health and Fiction by Douglas F. DeLuzin was number 2. And then number 3, The Venus Sweet Spot, Floating Home by John J. Vester. Covers for Analog, my 3 cover choices are July, August. Just the astronaut's face on there reminds me of the sequence at the end of 2001: A Space Odyssey with Dave Bowman as he travels through the Stargate. Number 2, the September-October issue, an astronaut getting off of his machine at a farm on the moon, and of course the folks at the farm are not wearing spacesuits. That, of course, was the cover story, Gorilla in a Tutu Principle, or Pecan Pie at Minnie and Earl's by Adam Troy Castro. And then number 3, November-December issue, because it reminds me of Cloud City. What can I say? I have a weakness for the classics. So those are my recommendations, my votes for the respective Readers' Awards for Asimov's and Analog magazine. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you back here soon with a review, with reviews of the respective magazines. Until then, take care.